the immortal champion. The arena shook with the sound of thousands of voices. Aliens from all corners of the galaxy screamed one name. Zira, Zira, Zira. She stood in the center of the giant battle arena, her black armor shining under the lights. Her red eyes stared at her enemy, a tall, four-armed fighter from the planet Kranox. He was strong. He was fast. But Zira did not care. The bell rang. Within seconds, the fight was over. One strike, one scream, one more body on the ground. Zira raised her hand. The crowd cheered louder. For them, this was normal. For Zira, it was just another day. For 300 years, Zira ruled the arena. She never lost. She never showed mercy. Her name was legend. Her face was painted on ships and buildings across the galaxy. The arena masters called her their queen. The fans called her a goddess. No one dared to challenge her. No one. Until now. Backstage, in the waiting zone, a small figure stood alone. He was quiet, calm. He looked nothing like the other fighters. He was human. His name was Kai. He wore no armor, only a simple black suit and old boots. His face had a scar over one eye, but his eyes were calm, too calm. He did not shake. He did not speak. An alien fighter laughed at him. "You're the new challenger? They sent a human? You'll die in seconds." Kai looked at him and smiled. "Maybe. Or maybe you'll be surprised." That alien never made it to the second round. One by one, Kai fought his way forward. He didn't win with strength. He won with speed, tricks, and something most fighters forgot: his mind. He studied his enemies. He watched how they moved. He waited for the right moment and struck. Word spread fast. A human is rising. He defeated 3 fighters in one day. He doesn't even use weapons. Zira heard the whispers. She sat in her private chamber watching the fights on a hologram. Her face stayed cold. But deep inside, something new moved. Curiosity. She watched the human dodge a punch, flip over a giant, and knock him down with one strike to the neck. "Clever," she whispered, "but not enough." The arena masters were not happy. The arena was built to show alien strength. Humans were supposed to be weak, a joke. Now one was getting too popular, too close to the top. They met in a secret room. "He must be stopped," one of them said. "He's just a man." Another said, "Zira will crush him." Back in the fighter's room, Kai sat alone. He looked up at the giant poster of Zira on the wall. Her red eyes seemed to stare at him. He spoke to himself. "They say she can't be beaten. They say she's not even fully alive anymore." He closed his eyes. A memory came back. His sister, taken by the aliens during the war. His home, destroyed. His people, broken. He was not here for fame. He was here for a reason. To break the arena. To end this game. The next day, the arena was full again. More than ever before. Everyone knew what was coming. Kai versus Zira. The champion versus the human. The announcer's voice rang through the air. "Today, for the first time in 300 years, Queen Zira will face a new challenger from Earth. A human named Kai." The gates opened. Zira walked out first. Her armor clicked with every step. Her face showed no fear. Then came Kai. No armor. No weapons. Only his eyes full of focus. The crowd was silent. Zira looked at him. He looked small, weak. But his eyes, they were different. She spoke first. "You're brave, human. But this place is not for you." Kai smiled. "We'll see." The bell rang. The human fighter silence. The arena was never silent, but now, every voice, every cheer, every scream had vanished. All eyes were locked on the 2 figures standing in the ring. Zira, the immortal queen, champion of 300 years. Kai, a simple human who dared to face her. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He just stared at her with calm, unshaking eyes. She took a step forward. Her armor was built from rare alien metals, polished and layered like dragon scales. Her sword hummed softly in her hand, a weapon forged in the heart of a dead star. Kai wore no armor. He had no sword, only his mind, only his speed, only one chance. The bell rang, but no one moved. Zira narrowed her eyes. She was waiting, studying. The crowd held its breath. But then, Kai turned his back. He walked away. The crowd gasped. Zira raised her sword, and the bell rang again. Fight paused. Gasps turned into chaos. The arena masters sent in drones, guards, and flashing lights. Stop the fight. Pause the challenge. No one knew what was happening. Back in the control room, the masters were shouting at each other. He's not fighting. Is he scared? No, one of them said. He's testing her. Zira stood still in the ring, her eyes following Kai. He finally stopped at the wall and looked up. High above, beyond the lights, cameras hovered silently. He pointed to them. You see everything, he said softly. So tell me, how long will you keep lying to your people? Zira heard him. She frowned. The crowd couldn't hear those words, but someone else did. The masters. They panicked. Scene change. 3 days earlier, Kai sat in a dark ship chained to a chair. 2 guards stood near him, both armed. His face was calm, but his eyes were busy, scanning, learning, calculating. He wasn't supposed to be in the arena. He was sent as a prisoner from Earth. A gift, they said, from a broken world to the arena masters. A final tribute, the alien general had called him. Let him die in the sand. But Kai had a plan. Inside his body was a hidden device. It recorded everything he saw, everything he heard. It was created by the last free scientists of Earth. This device would send all information to a secret ship orbiting nearby. Kai wasn't just here to fight. He was here to expose the truth. Back to present. The fight was delayed, but Zira stayed in the ring. So did Kai. Finally, after long minutes, a new voice echoed from the speakers above. Fight resumed. The bell rang again. This time Zira attacked first. She moved like a shadow, fast, silent, deadly. Her sword aimed, straight for Kai's chest. But he ducked, rolled, and slid beneath her legs, kicking her from behind. She stumbled, but only for a second. She turned, swinging her blade in a perfect arc. It should have cut him in half, but it didn't. Kai moved like he knew her next step. He dodged left, stepped in, and tapped her wrist. A soft tap. Zira's hand opened. Her sword dropped. She looked at him surprised. That had never happened before. How? Did you? She started. I've seen your moves, he said calmly. You repeat them, patterns, habits, like a program. Her eyes narrowed. What are you? A mirror, he said, and I'm here to break yours. Zira backed off. She felt something strange, her heart, no, her circuits, her old memories. Memories she hadn't seen in years. A girl crying in the dark. A steel collar around her neck. Screams. Fire. A voice saying, "You must fight, or die." She shook her head. No, I chose this. Kai looked at her carefully. Are you sure? Zira charged again, this time with her fists. No sword, just rage. They fought hard. She punched, he blocked. She kicked, he flipped. The ground cracked under them. Sparks flew. The crowd screamed again, this time louder than before. Zira had never looked so angry. So human. Kai landed a blow to her side. She fell to one knee. He stopped. He didn't attack again. Why? She asked. Because this fight isn't between us, he said. It's between truth and lies. She stood slowly. Her breathing was heavy. She didn't understand this man. No one had made her feel fear or doubt in centuries. You can't win, she said. Even if you beat me, they'll kill you. Kai looked up. Then I'll make sure everyone sees it. Above them, the cameras zoomed in. His voice echoed across the galaxy, not just in the arena, but in homes, on ships, in space stations. This arena is not honor. It's control. She didn't choose this life, neither did the others. I came here to fight, but not for glory, for freedom. Zyra froze. For a moment she saw herself, not as a warrior, but as a slave who forgot her chains. Then, the lights shut off. The screens went dark. The arena masters cut the signal, but it was too late. People had seen enough. The Queen's challenge for the first time in 300 years. She felt something new. Zyra stood alone in the warrior's corridor, her armor still wet with sweat and dust. Her hands trembled, not from pain, but from confusion. She had fought monsters. She had faced giants, creatures with claws, with venom, with fire. But this human had touched her without fear, had fought her without hate, had spoken to her like a memory, not a monster. And the worst part? He was right. The arena masters had taken her centuries ago. Back then she was young, proud, and afraid. Her planet had fallen. Her family was gone. The arena offered a simple deal: fight or die, survive, and they would fix her, make her stronger, make her better, and they did. Piece by piece they replaced her bones, her muscles, her mind. They trained her like a weapon, and when she cried they told her, "Champions don't cry, queens don't bleed." She became their queen, their immortal machine. But now, Kai's voice kept echoing in her head. "Are you sure?" She looked down at her hands. They were not hers anymore. Too perfect. Too cold. Behind her, a door opened. Two masters walked in, tall, thin, wrapped in silver robes. The crowd loved the fight, one said with a fake smile. "But your hesitation was dangerous," said the other. Zyra turned slowly. "He caught me off guard. He exposed you," the master said. "He spoke truths we worked centuries to bury. He is not just a fighter, he is a problem." "So what do you want?" Zyra asked. "You must kill him. In front of everyone. No mercy, no words. Make it a lesson." Zyra said nothing. They stepped closer. "Or we shut you down." That sentence wasn't a threat. It was a reminder. Zyra's mind had a kill switch, buried deep. She never saw it. But she felt it sometimes, like a cold needle behind her thoughts. They still owned her. Elsewhere, in a secret chamber below the arena, Kai sat. With a hood over his head, he was no longer in a fighter's room. He was a prisoner again. They had shut down the arena cameras, stopped the broadcast, and dragged him away mid-fight. But he had expected it. His secret device had already uploaded the footage to a cloaked Earthship nearby. People would see it. Even if he died here. A voice came from the shadows. A deep voice. "You are brave, human, and stupid." Kai looked up. A creature stood before him, wrapped in chains and shadows. He was huge, taller than Zyra, with black eyes and thick scars across his chest. "I saw what you did," the creature said. "You made her hesitate. You made her remember." "You know her?" Kai asked. "I was her first opponent," the creature said. "Before she became queen, she was just a girl with rage in her heart. She didn't want to kill me." "What happened?" "The masters made her choose. Kill or watch her sister die." Kai was silent. He had guessed something like this, but hearing it hurt more. "And her sister?" Kai asked. "Dead. Zyra became a killer that day, and the masters called it glory." Scene change. The arena masters control. A new match was announced. A special rematch. Zyra versus Kai. No rules. No time limit. No escape. The masters broadcasted it everywhere. Every screen in the galaxy was ordered to play it. Their message was clear. This is what happens to rebels. But something was wrong. More, and more people began to ask questions. Why is the human still alive? Why did the queen hesitate? Why was the broadcast cut? The seed of doubt had already been planted. Scene. Kai's cell. The door opened. Zyra stood there, no armor, no weapon, just... Her Kai raised an eyebrow. "Did you come to kill me? Zyra looked at him, her voice low. No. I came to ask. What now? He studied her. She looked different. Less like a champion. More like a person. I came here to start something, he said. But I didn't expect you to feel anything. She walked closer. I wasn't supposed to, but I do. A pause. I saw your memories, Kai said. They left pieces of your old self inside, maybe on purpose, maybe to make you fight harder. But now, those pieces are waking up. Zyra sat down. Her hands clenched into fists. I want to break free, she whispered. But I don't know how. Kai leaned forward. Help me reach the inner core of the arena, the place where they control you. Help me shut it all down. Zyra hesitated. If we fail, then they kill us, Kai said. But if we do nothing, they keep killing others. Every cycle, every fighter, every scream. Silence. Then Zyra stood. I will help you, she said. But we must make it look real. Scene. Arena. Next day. The crowd roared again. The masters smiled. The galaxy waited for blood. Zyra entered the ring first, then Kai. But this time, the battle would not go as planned. They fought with fury. It looked real. It felt real. But hidden in each punch, each step, was a code, a pattern, a path leading toward the hidden gate in the arena floor. Zyra whispered under her breath, only. Kai could hear. 3 steps back, spin left, drop down. They danced a war for the crowd, but underground, freedom was rising. The first clash, smoke rose from the arena floor like ghosts crawling out of forgotten graves. The lights were dim, red and pulsing like a heartbeat. The audience had grown silent, unsure of what they were about to witness. This wasn't just another fight. This was war, wrapped in gold and blood. Zyra stood in the center, her armor darker than ever, polished until it reflected the fire from the torches around the ring. She looked like a shadow brought to life. But her eyes told a different story now. They were no longer cold. They were awake. Across the ring, Kai walked out slowly. No armor again. Just a plain gray suit, dusty boots and eyes that stared directly into hers. The scar above his eyebrow had deepened, maybe from his last escape, maybe from his past. But he didn't walk like a man who expected to lose. He walked like a man who had already made peace with death. Minutes earlier, inside the underground tunnel, Zyra and Kai had reached the hidden maintenance shaft beneath the arena. She had never been here before, though she had fought above it 1,000 times. Kai placed a small device on the floor. A flicker of blue light opened a map projection, a hidden section of the arena's core systems. The main control room is beneath, the throne box. Kai whispered. If we reach it, we can shut down the control chips and free every fighter. Zyra stared at the map, her fists clenched. What happens to me if you do? She asked. Kai looked at her, slowly, carefully. I don't know, he said honestly, but you deserve to find out. They only had one chance, a fight, a real one, broadcasted galaxy-wide. Loud enough, big enough to hide their path to the control core. If they got there, they could destroy the throne. If they failed, they'd die live, on every screen in the galaxy. Back to present. The fight begins. The bell rang. Zyra charged first. She had to make it real. Her blade came from the left, fast and sharp. Kai ducked, rolled to the side, and kicked up sand. She blinked through the dust and spun, cutting the air just inches from his throat. The crowd screamed. On the surface, it looked like a deadly dance. Underneath it, a pattern. Hit me high next, Zyra whispered through her teeth. Kai swung upward. She blocked, jumped back, and slammed her fist into his shoulder. He flew backward, hit the ground hard. Pain was real. Blood was real. Even a fake war draws real wounds. Inside the master's chamber, the arena masters watched the fight from their glass tower. She hesitated again. One said, "No." The other replied, "She's putting on a show. She will kill him soon." But in the back of the chamber, a third master remained silent. His screen flickered for a moment. A strange signal appeared, something from the lower systems. He frowned, then stood. Something's wrong. Back in the arena, Kai coughed blood. Zira pulled him to his feet and punched his side again. "Left platform is weakening," she said under her breath. He nodded. 10 more steps. The crowd chanted. Zira raised her arms like a victorious goddess. "Is this all the human has to offer?" Kai stood again. His voice was low, measured. "I offer freedom." She attacked, knocking him toward the left edge of the platform. He staggered. The ground cracked beneath his feet. Right on cue. Hidden gate opened just behind the fallen stone, only for a second. Kai slipped through. Gone. The audience gasped. Zira screamed in rage and leapt after him, disappearing too. From above, it looked like death. A perfect end. But underground, they were running. Inside the arena's hidden core, the hallways were dark, buzzing with old machines and blinking lights. Alien tech pulsed around them, systems built over centuries. Control chips, cloning pods, body regeneration tubes. A graveyard of slaves wrapped in wires. Zira stared at it all. "This is where they fixed me." Kai held up his device. "And this is where we end them." They reached the control chamber, a small room full of glowing nodes. In the center, a black console with one red button. Kai placed his palm on it. A voice spoke from the system. "Are you sure you wish to begin system-wide freedom protocol?" Zira looked at him. "If you press it, you might kill me." Kai didn't answer right away. Then he stepped back and offered her the button. "You choose." She stared at it. No orders. No programming. No threats. Just choice. Her hand shook. Then she pressed it. Above. In the arena tower, alarms screamed. Lights blinked red. All across the galaxy, screens glitched. Then changed. Images of the control room, the prisoners, the body modifications, the hidden truths. Everything went public. The arena masters panicked. Who gave them access? How did they? Then one screen showed Zira and Kai standing side by side in the chamber. She looked directly into the camera. "I was your champion, your queen, but I was also your prisoner. The fight is over. You cannot control us anymore." But, just as the signal reached its peak, a blast ripped through the floor. From the shadows, a new figure entered the chamber. Clad in black, faceless, wrapped in wires. Not a fighter, a weapon. The arena master's last creation, not alive, not human, and it spoke only one word: reset, then charged. The secret behind her power smoke and sparks filled the chamber. The air smelled like burning wires and blood. Kai stumbled backward, eyes wide, staring at the creature that had just crashed through the wall. It looked like a man, but it wasn't. Its skin was smooth metal, shaped like muscle, black with red lines glowing. Underneath, no eyes, just a blank faceplate with one red circle glowing in the center. Watching, thinking. It moved with the silence of death. "What is that?" Kai asked. Zira's voice was quiet. "It's the final protocol." The creature took a step forward. The lights flickered. "Reset," it said again. Kai grabbed Zira's arm. "We have to run." But she didn't move. Her face was pale, frozen. "Zira?" he said again, louder. She finally spoke. "I've seen it before." 15 years earlier, memory fragment in Zira's mind. She was kneeling in a cold lab. A man in a white coat stood over her. He wasn't alien. He was human. One of the early defectors who helped build the arena. In front of her stood a figure, tall, black-armored, quiet. "This is Project Zero," the man said. "Our failsafe." Zero was still recovering from her third regeneration. She looked up, at the creature. "Why does it look like a person?" The man smiled. "Because monsters wear human faces." Back to present, Zira pulled Kai back just as the creature lunged. Its arm became a blade, slicing the air where Kai's head had been. Seconds before, they dove behind a console. The creature smashed through metal like paper. "Can it be killed?" Kai shouted. "Maybe," Zira said, breathing hard. "But not by weapons." She looked at the red circle on its face. "It's powered by the arena's core. If we shut that down, it dies." Kai checked the device in his pocket. The core map blinked. It was beneath the central tower, heavily guarded. "We need a distraction." Zira looked at him. "Then give them something they can't ignore." Meanwhile, the arena broadcast towers. The truth was already out. Billions were watching. The screams, the explosions, Zira's speech. Every planet with a screen had seen what the arena really was. But the masters weren't giving up. They released soldiers, machines, drones, everything. Still, something was happening across the galaxy. Protests, riots, and in the arena stands, silence. No one cheered anymore. They were watching something else now. A revolution. Scene. Underground escape route. Kai and Zira ran through narrow tunnels, chased by the kill unit. It didn't run. It floated. Smooth. Silent. A ghost machine. How did they make it? Kai asked between breaths. Zira answered, her voice heavy with shame. "With pieces of us. Every fighter who died. They took parts. Brains, nerves, memories. It's not just a machine. It's built from fallen champions." Kai stopped for a second. "You mean..." "Yes," she said, looking straight ahead. "It's part of me too." Flashback. Zira's memory, hidden and buried. Zira lay on an operating table. She wasn't asleep, just paralyzed. A scientist leaned over her. "You're strong, but not perfect," he said. "We're backing you up, storing your thoughts. If you break, we rebuild you from this." In the next room, she saw jars, brains in tubes, hearts in machines. Memories playing on loop. She screamed, but only in her mind. Back to present, Kai and Zira reached the blast doors of the core chamber. On the other side was the power heart of the arena, and behind them, the reset unit. Zira turned to Kai. "I can." "Hold it off," she said. "No," he snapped. "We do this together." But she shook her head. "It wants me more than you. You have to finish the mission. This is mine." She stepped forward, but Kai grabbed her hand. "You're not a weapon," he said softly. "You're a person, and I'm not leaving you behind." A pause. Then something in Zira cracked. A tear slid down her cheek. The first in centuries. "I forgot how that feels," she whispered. Then together, they charged into the core control room. The arena's heart was massive, pulsing with alien energy, guarded by auto turrets and laser fields. But Kai's device had one last trick. He threw it into the center. It exploded with a wave of blue light. The systems glitched. Everything shut down. All across the arena, the collars on fighters' necks popped off. Prisoners gasped as doors unlocked. Drones crashed to the floor. The entire system blinked, then died. But the reset unit still moved. Its connection to the arena was broken, but it had one last instruction, buried deep. "Eliminate host, Zira." It rushed at her. She stood her ground. Then, at the last second, Kai jumped in front of her. The blade punched into his side. He fell. "Kai!" Zira screamed, catching him in her arms. His eyes were still open, bleeding, smiling. "I told you," he said slowly. "This isn't about death, it's about choice." Zira turned to the machine, her machine, and for the first time, she ordered it to stop. "Command override," she whispered, blood on her lips. "Unit 0, deactivate." The red light flickered, once, twice, then faded. The machine fell backward, dead. 1 hour later, the surface. The crowd was gone. Only silence remained. The arena masters had fled or been captured by their own guards. The arena was cracked, broken, but, for the first time, it was free. Kai lay in a medical pod, unconscious but alive. Zira stood beside him, looking at the sky. For centuries, she ruled the arena. Today, she ended it. But something darker still stirred in the shadows. The Masters had plans beyond the arena, and war was coming. The rebellion begins. The arena was silent now. Its grand walls, once bathed in light and glory, were cracked, dark, and broken. Dust drifted like fog over the ruined seats. Empty armor pieces lay scattered in the sand. The place that had once been the center of galactic entertainment was now a graveyard of its own cruelty. Zira stood at the highest platform, overlooking it all. Her eyes weren't red with rage anymore. They were calm, clear. For the first time in 300 years, they were her own. Behind her, Kai rested inside a healing pod recovered from the arena's medical vault. The stab wound had gone deep, nearly fatal. But he was alive, breathing, fighting still, even in his sleep. She owed him everything, and she hated it, because Zira wasn't built to owe anyone anything. But maybe she wasn't built anymore. Scene, underground communications hub. 6 hours later, Zira activated the long-range transmitter with shaky fingers. Dust fell from the ceiling as systems flickered awake. She accessed the arena's deepest archives, using master-level codes she hadn't even realized she remembered. The YOW screen glowed. Data flowed across it. Maps, communications, names. Then, she saw it. Her eyes narrowed. No, it can't be. What the galaxy called the arena was only one of many. There were others, 9 of them, spread across dead moons, abandoned mining stations, underground planets, hidden beneath trade ports. They weren't just entertainment zones, they were breeding grounds for control. Each arena had its own champion. Each champion was like her, enhanced, enslaved, alone. And now, with the fall of the Prime Arena, the Masters were activating all of them. A backup plan, a counter-rebellion. Zira looked over her shoulder at Kai, still unconscious. She turned back to the screen. "You wanted truth, Kai," she whispered. "Well, now you'll get war." Scene. Outer System. Prison Moon. Delta 9A tall, thin alien moved through the corridors of a secret facility. He wore long silver robes and a breathing mask. One of the arena masters. He stood before a tank full of green fluid. Inside floated a girl, no older than 12, her body already wired, eyes closed. "Prime Arena has fallen," the master said to his team. "Prepare Project Nova. Release Champion 7. Another tank lit up nearby. Something monstrous woke up inside. Scene. Rebel encampment, 3 days later. Word of the arena's fall spread like fire. Not through news, not through governments, through whispers. Miners spoke of a human who bled for freedom. Smugglers told stories of a queen who turned on her creators, and across hundreds of planets, prisoners started breaking their chains, sometimes with weapons, sometimes with hope alone. Zira watched it unfold through stolen broadcasts, but she wasn't smiling, because she had seen what was coming. The rebellion had begun, but so had the purge. Scene. Kai wakes up, his eyes opened slowly. The world was blurry. Pain pulsed in his side. The first thing he saw was her, Zira, sitting near him, wearing no armor, just a dark cloak and a distant stare. "You're alive," she said. "I told you," Kai whispered. "You'd have to do worse than that." Zira didn't laugh. She handed him a tablet. "Look," he read in silence. "The other arenas. The new champions. The counterforce. They're trying to replace you," he said quietly. Zira nodded. "No, they're trying to erase me." Scene. Planning the rebellion. They met in a hidden crater on a moon, called Eravos 3. Smugglers, ex-fighters, rebel scientists, and spies. They came not because of loyalty, but because of what she had done. Zira sat at the center of the room. The same woman who once bathed in the blood of gladiators now wore a Hood and scars she didn't hide. "I won't lie to you," she said, voice cold and steady. "They're building something worse than me. Worse than all of us." She turned on the projection. Project Nova. Champions bred for instant obedience. No feelings, no thoughts, just strength and fear. The arenas were only the start. The masters want to use these champions to control entire systems. They're not just replacing fighters, they're replacing freedom. The room was quiet, then someone stood. A former alien commander. His eye patch glowed red. "Then what's your plan, Queen?" She didn't smile. "We destroy every arena, every lab, every chamber. And when we reach their throne world..." She paused. "We burn it." Scene. Meanwhile, arena. There 3. Vault of dust. A new champion entered the ring, tall, silver-skinned. No emotion. He didn't speak. He only listened to the master's voice in his head. His first opponent was brought in, a young fighter with sharp claws and speed. The fight lasted 2 seconds. The boy never stood a chance. "Send the recording," the master ordered. "Show them we are not finished." Scene. Night before the first strike, Zira stood alone on a ridge. Kai walked up behind her, limping but stable. "You can't save everyone," he said. "I'm not trying to," she replied. He watched her for a moment. "Then why are you doing this?" She stared at the stars. "Because I need to know," she said softly. "If I was ever more than a weapon." She turned to him. "And because now, they fear me." First rebellion strike. 3 rebel ships jumped into orbit around Arena Nur 5, a floating station disguised as a trade hub. The masters were waiting. They sent 2 new champions. The fight in space was brutal. Explosions, debris, screams. Zira landed on the station herself, blade in hand. One of the new champions stood before her. She stopped. He looked familiar, too familiar. His face was a younger version of hers. "They cloned me," she whispered. The clone stared at her with cold, empty eyes. "You are the error," he said. "I'm the beginning," she replied, and charged. The final fight. The galaxy was on fire. Rebellions had broken out on 13 systems. The truth about the arenas had reached every dark corner of space. Fighters who once killed for entertainment were now turning against their masters. Citizens who once watched silently had taken up arms, but the war wasn't over. It had just begun. The arena masters had retreated to one final stronghold, the throne world, hidden in the heart of a black star cluster known as the Veil. Surrounded by mines, drones, and death fields, it was a fortress built from fear and steel. And Zira was going there to end it, not as a champion, not as a queen, but as a rebel with nothing left to lose. Scene. Rebel fleet. Approaching the Veil, Kai stood on the deck of the lead ship, watching. Stars bend and twist as they approached the enemy's last sanctuary. He had healed mostly. The scars would stay. So would the memories. Zira stood beside him, wearing light armor, her long cloak floating in the artificial wind of the ship's core. "This is a trap," Kai said. "I know," Zira replied. "They want us to come. I want them to try." Scene. Inside the throne world, in the heart of the massive citadel, the remaining masters met in a circular chamber of obsidian glass. One of them, an old one with half his face machine, watched the rebels draw closer on a hologram. "She's, coming," he said coldly. Another master stepped forward, then let her see the truth. A massive screen lit up, footage from a secret lab, a clone pod. Inside it, another Kai, younger, cold, wired directly to the throne systems. "He never came alone," the master whispered. "He was always one of us." Scene. The final approach. The rebel fleet was under fire. Laser cannons ripped through space. Drones exploded. One ship was torn in half, scattering bodies into the void. But Zira's ship pushed through, straight to the throne. They breached the dome in a ball of flame, crashing into the tower itself. Zira and Kai stepped into the black hallways. "Split up," she said. You go to the core, shut it down. I'll take the throne room. Kai hesitated. You sure? She looked at him, eyes steady. This is where I end. Scene: Zyra versus the Masters. The throne room was vast, cold white walls, high ceilings, and 13 dark thrones. Only 5 were filled now. Zyra walked in slow, each step echoing across the floor. One master stood. His voice was deep, arrogant. You were our greatest creation. I was your greatest mistake, she replied. Another master hissed. You can't win. We built your mind. We own your blood. Zyra raised her sword, then come take it. The fight began. Scene: Kai's discovery. In the lower chambers, Kai reached the core room. Then he froze. There it was. Himself, or something that looked like him. Standing behind glass, wires in his skin. Younger, colder, smiling. You're not real, Kai said. The clone tilted its head. I am what you would have become if you had obeyed. What is this? Kai whispered. You were always part of the plan, the voice behind him said. Kai turned. Another master stood there, the last one. You think you escaped Earth's fall, the master said. But your escape pod was intercepted. We rewrote. You. Sent you back in. Kai blinked. He remembered flashes, the crash, the strange dreams, the feeling that something inside him wasn't right. The master smiled. You were never the hero, Kai. You were our key. Kai gritted his teeth. Then maybe I'm a broken key, he growled, and shot the console. The room exploded. Scene: Zyra's last stand. Zyra was bleeding. 2 masters were dead. 3 still fought, using exosuits, mind pulse weapons, and cloned beasts. She limped, dragged her blade behind her. Her hair stuck to her face. Her armor cracked, but she wouldn't stop. You made me fight for you. She said, now I fight for them. She impaled one master with a final scream. Only one remained. The oldest. He activated the failsafe. The room began to collapse. Walls shook. Fire burst from the floor. You'll die here, he hissed. Maybe, Zyra said. She threw her sword. Straight, through his chest. Scene: Final escape. Kai stumbled out of the burning core room. He limped into the throne chamber. Found her. Zyra was on one knee, barely breathing. We have to go, he said, lifting her up. She smiled weakly. Not yet. She handed him a device, small, glowing red. This will erase the clone network. All of them. Even me. Kai looked at her. You'll die. I already did, she said. A long time ago. He shook his head. You're more human than anyone I know. Zyra placed her hand over his. Promise me. He nodded, then pressed the button. Scene: Outer space. From above, the throne world cracked, like an egg breaking from inside. Light burst from it, then shadows, then fire. Every clone across the galaxy frozen, every arena system shut down, and deep inside the fire, Zyra closed her eyes. One last time. 1 month later, Kai stood in a refugee camp on a desert world. Children ran by. Former fighters trained in open fields, not to kill but to live. He spoke to a small crowd. She ruled the arena for centuries, he said. But in the end, she broke the chain, not with a blade, but with a choice. He raised a small piece of broken metal, Zyra's sword hilt. She wasn't just a fighter, she was the first to remember who we really are. Final scene. In deep space beyond the rebel systems, something stirred. A black ship, ancient and silent, drifted toward the edge of known space. Inside it, a pod blinked. A heartbeat. A whisper. Zyra? No. Something else.